Hello again. Welcome back. Welcome to a new episode. Episode, Marta, you always say episode. I don't like the word episode for this. This isn't an episode. This is a class, an English class, or a program. It's a television program, a television show. But an episode, there are no murders here, no bank robberies, no police chases, no car chases. So this is simply an English class with the verb to be, to have, to go. Irregular verbs, regular verbs. There are no irregular robbers or regular thieves or irregular murderers. No, just irregular verbs. It's not very interesting, to tell you the truth. A decir verdad, es easy to tell you the truth. El aprender inglés no es interesante. It's really boring. It's really boring. But I enjoy teaching. It's fun. I mean, I have these pencils. I have the guitar. I have you. I have Marta. And I have the lights. I have the books. These books. Get them. If you don't have them, come on. So, simple past. Simple past. Irregular. All right. I'm on page 180. Y lo voy a hacer punto por punto. Where did Al Capone build his mafia business? Where did Al Capone build? Where did he build? Where did Al Capone build his mafia business? He built his mafia business in Chicago. Chicago. Notice pronunciation. We don't say Chicago. Chicago, no. Chicago. Like should. Debería Chicago llamarse Chicago? Should Chicago be called Chicago? Should Chicago. All right. So, when did Spain lose Cuba? When did Spain lose Cuba? Spain lost Cuba in 1898. Yes, in the Spanish-American War. Spain lost Cuba. It lost Puerto Rico. It lost the Philippines. And it lost the island of Guam. So, Spain lost 4 territories in 1898. Not only Cuba. All right. When did Real Madrid win the European Cups? When did Real Madrid win 6 European Cups? Well, they won 6 European Cups in the 1950s and the beginning of the 1960s. Fíjate cómo lo digo. En los años 50. In the 50s, or in the 1950s, con un S. Sin apostrophe, en mi opinión, hay debate. I put 1950s, porque no es genitivo sajón, no hay pertenencia, in the 1950s, so I put an S. And the early 1960s, ¿qué dice aquí? It says the 1960s. No, this is wrong. Marta, this isn't, no se errata, pero es error. They began, I think the first was in 1956 or 1957. And they won 6 consecutive or 5 consecutive, and then 1 later. So, I'm not sure. But Real Madrid won 6 European Cups in the 50s and 60s. Okay? When did Lindbergh fly across? When did Charles Lindbergh fly across the Atlantic Ocean? He flew across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927. He took off from Long Island and he crossed with the minimum weight peso possible. And he was flying. And he noticed there was a fly in the cockpit. Cockpit is el cabina de mandos. And he noticed a fly, una mosca. There was a fly. And he looked at the fly flying. And he said, I'm not going to kill the fly. But if the fly lands on the plane, yes, because it's additional weight. All right. So, I don't know what happened. But he flew. He flew across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927. He landed outside of Paris. Yes, at night. Yes. And he destroyed a farm. He destroyed some land with crops. But very famous. Charles Lindbergh, the spirit of St. Louis. How many taxes did you send? ¿Cómo? Faxes. He dijo taxes. ¿Cuántos impuestos? How many taxes did you pay last year? Last year I paid, well, last year I started working for myself on July 26th. From January 1st to July 26th, I worked for the public administrations. All the money I earned. Starting on July 27th, everything I earned was for me. Okay, so, because that includes personal income tax, impuestos sobre renta de las personas físicas, personal income tax, gasoline tax, community, well, what you call circulation tax or traffic tax, VAT, el IVA que pagaba, VAT, plus contribución, what do you call el IBI, bienes inmuebles. I mean, just, you add it up. Don't forget VAT, IVA. Don't forget VAT or VAT. Don't forget that. It's a lot of money. And so when do you start earning money for yourself? Last year I started on July 27th. Yes. So right now I'm earning money. Well, this is September. Right now I'm earning money, I think, for myself. But esta frase dice, how many faxes did you send yesterday? I didn't send any. Here it says I sent 2 faxes. The last time I sent a fax was 10 or 15 years ago. It's an obsolete technology. But I remember when faxes first appeared in the 1980s. I said, it's magic. It's magic. Well, for me, electricity, electronics, even mechanical engineering, for me is magic. Yes. If engineers didn't exist, we would be reciting poetry in the caves. So, yeah. So let's go on. Where did you sleep last night? I slept at home. What room did you sleep in? I slept in my bedroom. Which side of the bed did you sleep on? I slept on the south side of the bed. The south side? Yeah, my bed faces east-west, and I slept on the south side. Okay. In Chile, it's a problem. In the country, Chile, Santiago is the capital, they have to sleep, they always sleep north-south. Because if they sleep east-west, their head is in the mountains and their feet are in the ocean. It's a problem. So they have to sleep north-south. But yes, I slept on my bed and I slept on the right side of the bed. I didn't sleep. I slept, I didn't sleep. I slept, I didn't sleep. I slept on the right side, I didn't sleep on the left side. What kind of clothes did you wear yesterday? What kind of clothes? ¿Qué clase de ropa? What, don't you remember? I wore a white shirt yesterday. Yeah, yeah. What kind of clothes? What kind? Well, I wore normal conservative clothes because I'm a normal conservative man. I'm an English teacher. English teachers wear conservative clothes. All right. So I didn't wear anything special yesterday, but I wore a cap. I wore a baseball cap yesterday afternoon. Yes. Why? Richard, why did you wear a baseball cap yesterday afternoon? I wore a baseball cap because I didn't want to be recognized. I was walking in the park. And with a baseball cap, people don't stop me and say, "Mi profe." It's okay, it's okay. But I prefer the anonymity that the baseball cap gives me. How many letters did you write last week? I wrote. No, last week I didn't write any letters. Well, letters, eh? Not emails, yes, but letters. The week before last, I wrote 3 letters. I wrote a letter to a woman in Barcelona. I wrote a letter to a woman in Extremadura, Enriqueta, I remember her name. And I wrote a letter to a prisoner in a prison in Tenerife who follows this program and other programs, yeah. And he writes perfect. He's Irish. There's an Irishman in a prison in Tenerife. And so he watches this program because he's learning. Well, no, he's a teacher. He was an English teacher. So he knows how to teach, but he's probably watching to judge my teaching, all right? And he writes long letters. Very interesting, but long letters. All right. So I wrote 3 letters 2 weeks ago. All right. What time did you leave home this morning? This morning I left home at 7 o'clock. I leave home every day at 7 o'clock. 7 a.m., very early. I left home at 7 a.m. How many novels did you read last year? I read about 5 novels last year. Yes. And I read 1 novel by Marcial Lafuente Estefania because I had never read a novel by him. He writes cowboy novels. He's Spanish, and he writes Western novels. Very simple, very short. But he has written 3,000 novels. It's incredible. When I came to Spain in 1972, I remember on the underground, on the subway, I remember seeing men, women no, reading these little paperback novels. Marcial Lafuente Estefania, yes. El Vaquero Solitario, all right, the lonely cowboy. And so I finally decided 2 months ago to read, well, a person who watches this program, a student, and listens to the radio, sent me a novel by Marcial Lafuente Estefania. And so I read it. I also read last month last year, a Japanese novel, a Japanese crime novel, a murder mystery taking place in Tokyo. It was very interesting because also I had a map of Tokyo, and I became semi-expert about Tokyo, reading the murder mystery and the detective story. So now I know the 2 rivers that pass through Tokyo. I know the different neighborhoods in Tokyo, but I've never been to Tokyo. But now I'm a pseudo-expert on Tokyo. So how many novels did you read? I read probably 5 novels, because now I read essays, ensayo, más que novela. Now I read essays more than novels. How did you feel when you got up this morning? How did I feel when I got up this morning? I felt energetic. Yeah. The alarm clock, ring. I said, wow. I got up, wow. And I started singing this morning. Really? What did you sing? I sang a very famous song from a very famous Broadway production called Oklahoma. And I said, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All right, everything's going my way means todo va conmigo positivamente en el camino. Everything's going my way. And this morning, that's when I got up this morning, I felt ready to conquer the world. And you? How did you feel when you got up this morning? Did you feel sleepy? Did you feel ready and energetic? Or did you feel tired? Did you feel angry? I felt me this morning when I woke up, because I woke up before the alarm went off. Se dice más, to go off se dispara la alarma cuando suena. We say to go off más que ring. So I woke up before the alarm clock went off. I woke up before the alarm clock rang. So, and I woke up okay, clear-headed. All right, so let's go on. So how did you feel? Did you know me 2 months ago? Me? No, you. I knew you. Yeah, I knew you 2 months ago. You're my student. Yeah. So I knew you 2 months ago. I knew you 3 months ago. I met you in January. Well, I met some of you in January. I met others in February. I met some more in March. And then I met some in April. I met some in May, June, July, etc. Every day I meet somebody new who joins the program and perhaps maybe buys the books. And so, yes. So, I met you, I think I met you in February, right? When did we meet? When did we meet? In February? I think so. Yeah, we met in February. So I knew you last month. I knew you in March because I met you in February. So new. Yes. Excuse me, Richard. Did you know John Kennedy personally? No, I didn't know John Kennedy personally. Did you know Francisco Franco personally? No, I didn't know Francisco Franco personally. Did you know Adolfo Suarez personally? No, I didn't. I didn't know Adolfo Suarez personally. Did you know Fernando Fernan Gomez personally? No, I didn't. I didn't know Fernando Fernan Gomez personally. I don't know anybody important in this country. I only know, well, important. You're important. Marta's important. Well, I know a lot of very important people in this country, but famous people. I don't know many famous people. Yes. Somebody famous that I knew who has died. I can't remember. I can't remember. I don't know. I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know Fraga. I didn't know Suarez. I didn't know Carrillo. I didn't know anybody. Personally, of course, personally. All right. How much money did you spend yesterday? Yesterday, I didn't spend any money. Well, yes, I remember a few days ago I spoke about this. I spent money indirectly on electricity and water in my house. Yesterday I didn't buy anything, so I didn't. Ayer no compré nada, por tanto no gasté nada. Yesterday I didn't buy anything, so I didn't spend any money. I didn't spend any, Denny, Denia, Denny. I didn't spend any money, spend any money, spend any money. Es como el lazo, eh? Spend any money. I didn't buy anything yesterday, so I didn't spend any money. But but I was spending money unconsciously because of the lighting, the electricity in my house, and the water in my house. So I was spending money, maybe €3. Maybe I spent €3 yesterday. All right. When did you sell your last car? I sold, this is interesting, I sold my last car in 1998, 22 years ago. Wow. Do you have a car now? Yes, I do. For 22 years? No, wait. I sold my last car in 1998. And then I rented a car for 4 years. And then I rented another car for 4 years. And then I rented another car for 4 years. And then I bought my current car. And I haven't sold it. So, the last time I sold a car, soldador. Sold a car. The last time I sold a car was 22 years ago. Wow, not bad. All right, how many centimeters did your son grow last year? Well, my son is 36. So I don't think he grew any centimeters last year. But I remember in 1990, 30 years ago, he grew a lot. maybe 5 centimeters every year. Yeah, he grew a lot. All right, how much did a subway ticket cost in 1972? Here in Spain, a subway ticket cost 4 pesetas. 4 pesetas. That's 2.5 céntimos, 2 céntimos y medio. El metro de Madrid costaba in 1972. I remember. I came in 1972 to Spain in September, well, in August. And I remember the underground. Los británicos dicen underground. Los americanos decimos subway. Los británicos de Londres dicen tube, el tubo, the tube. I recommend the underground or the metro. The metro is an international word. It's also, people understand. How much does the metro cost? So, the subway cost in 1972. Cost. La única vez que cost cambia es tercera persona del singular del tiempo presente. Un lápiz como este cuesta. A pencil like this costs. Pencils like these cost. A pencil like this costs 5 cents, maybe, or 10 cents. And yesterday, this pencil cost. Now, every day it costs. The only time cost changes is in the third person singular in the present tense. Otherwise, de otra manera, siempre es cost. All right. We have about 3 minutes. We're going to start with Nigel Perkins, the British private detective and businessman. Are you ready? Nigel Perkins. Last week, aquí le tienes, creo. Last week, Nigel Perkins flew to Monte Carlo with his wife to visit their son, Ronnie. This is Ronnie, by the way. Ronnie lives in Monte Carlo. All right. Nigel and his wife go to Monte Carlo 2 or 3 times every year between November and March because Ronnie is too busy the other half of the year to be with them. They drove to Gatwick Airport on Wednesday morning and left the car at the airport parking lot or car park. They had first-class reservations. Toma. Nigel has a lot of money. They had first-class reservations for the 2-hour flight. My God, 2 hours. All right. The plane left Gatwick. The plane left Gatwick at 11:15, on time at 11:15, and got to Monte Carlo 10 minutes early at 5 minutes past 1:05. Nigel and his wife weren't expecting to meet Ronnie at the airport, so they caught a taxi and went to his apartment near the port. They were surprised to find that their son wasn't at home. Nigel didn't have a key to the apartment, so he and his wife spent some time looking at the shop windows along the street. After 20 minutes, they went back to the apartment building and tried again. Ronnie still wasn't there. The temperature was around 15 degrees, and Nigel's wife felt a little cold. They decided to go to a small bookshop about 300 meters from Ronnie's apartment building. Nigel likes to spend time in bookshops, but his wife Margaret doesn't. So Nigel asked permission to use the telephone and called Ronnie's mobile number. Nigel didn't have a mobile phone. Ronnie was in a meeting with a tour operator not far from the bookshop. He said he was sorry and told Nigel that the porter in his apartment building had a key to his apartment. Nigel and Margaret walked back to the building, called the porter, and asked for the key. Ronnie arrived 2 hours later. All right. So, in the next class, we will dissect this several times. But in essence, Nigel and his wife Margaret flew to Monte Carlo to visit their son. When they arrived, they caught a taxi, went to his apartment near the port, and Ronnie wasn't there. So they killed time walking around, looking at the shop windows, los escaparates, and 20 minutes later went back, and he still wasn't there. So they found a bookshop nearby, 300 meters away. 300 meters is far. And Nigel loves bookshops, but Margaret doesn't. So finally, they contacted Ronnie and got a key from the porter and waited 2 hours for him. I'll come back with more.